Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here with Secure Team. Today I'm going to show you some brand new footage, along with some past footage, proving that when the astronauts go up into space, whether it be on their space shuttle missions, or the International Space Station, their spacewalks, spacecraft dockings, virtually every time that there has been a video camera in space, it almost never fails that we get a perfect example of what I have called in the past a literal highway of activity. And by that I mean unidentified objects that are not part of the ISS or the shuttle, have nothing to do with the astronauts that are up there, but have been seen flying by in the distance, maneuvering, making turns, changing velocity, and we'll just say doing everything that satellites don't do. So without further ado, we're going to start off with a new clip where we have an astronaut working on the International Space Station, where we will not only see a UFO fly overhead, but we're also going to see the astronaut attempt to hide this activity by putting his hand in front of the camera. And he actually does this a couple of times. So I'm going to play you this footage first at its regular speed, and this happens very quickly. So let's go ahead and play this clip in its raw form. Alright, so let's go ahead and stop it right there before we show you what else happens in this clip. So if you didn't see it, I'm going to play it again, and I'm going to zoom in right up here near these solar panels where this thing first appears. It's flying overhead and in the distance. And there it is. Did you guys see it? Now watch. It's going to come back out going the opposite direction. There it goes. You see it? And there's the hand. Immediately after this thing flies past, this hand goes right in front of the camera. So if you still haven't seen it, let's go ahead and slow this down. There's the object. There it is. Look as it curves and flies out into space, disappearing, and there's the hand that comes in front trying to hide the camera's view. So now we're going to go frame by frame, because I want to give you guys the clearest shot possible, because I don't want to be seeing any comments down there from people saying, I didn't see anything, Tyler, what are you talking about, you've lost your mind. I want you guys to see it because it's there. So here we go, we're going frame by frame, and here is the object when it first flies over. It flies over the ISS towards the Earth, disappears back behind the ISS out of view, and then we see it come back out, flying out into space above the Earth, and it actually curves as it's flying out into space. And then we see this hand come down because the astronaut obviously notices the object there. So now we're just going to go back and forth here. So that's the first object, UFO, that we've noticed. Let's go ahead and play this one more time. So he places his hand in front of the camera, and that's where we cut the footage. Alright, we cut it, because that's where we wanted to stop it, because there's more to see here. And we're going to restart the footage from where we left off, right as he has just put his hand in front of the camera, trying to block it. And in doing so, he thinks he's hiding what was there. So eventually he takes his hand back away from the camera, and then we see an entirely different group of UFOs fly over again. So check this out. Alright, did you guys see that? So now he completely pans the camera over to the left. He's done letting us watch these UFOs passing by. Not only are they UFOs flying by, but they're in different shapes. And what we have here is the return of one of the most infamous UFOs that have ever been documented in space, and that is what we call the boomerang UFO. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here in just a second. So let's go ahead and play this clip again in slow motion so you can see these things passing by. And there we have the camera panning away, because he does not want anyone to see that. He's probably got someone from ground control in his ear telling him to get that camera out of view of these UFOs. We have a couple flying towards Earth, and then we have another one flying away from the Earth. And as I said earlier, one of these UFOs reminds me of something that we call the boomerang. And as I'm showing you this zoomed in and slowed down clip of this thing, you can see what I mean because it looks exactly like a boomerang. So, we've mentioned the boomerang UFO and how we had seen it before. So if you haven't seen that clip, this comes from a 1960s piece of film footage from the Apollo missions when we were actually on our way to the moon, and where, once again, we see this spinning boomerang-shaped UFO jetting past the Earth, which is what you're seeing here. So get a good look at it here. Look at the way it spins, look at the way it moves. And now let's go back to this new ISS clip and take a look at what appears to be either the same or a very similar object. Looks very, very similar to me. So, just to go ahead and stop right here before we go any further, what we have here are two separate instances in the same clip where multiple UFOs are seen passing overhead, and not only that, but where we have the astronaut attempting to block the camera with his hand, and when that doesn't work, the camera is completely panned away from space so we can see no more. So this is textbook censorship. They do not want us to see space. That is why, when you watch the ISS nowadays, they're very careful in the ways that they position the camera, never allowing the camera to view any blank areas of space for too long. So now I want to go through a couple of other very mysterious pieces of footage taken again on separate missions throughout the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, where we have seen more of this space traffic, making turns, changing speeds and velocities, and I mean, once you watch it all, it's pretty much a no-brainer. So we'll go to this next clip here, which is from the STS-114 mission in 2005, so check this out. This is another one of my favorite clips because it actually displays not only one UFO coming in and completely changing speed and directions, but we actually see a second UFO fly in, heading in another direction. Look at this thing curve in, fly into the frame. We're seeing the Earth in the background here, and I believe this was filmed in infrared. So two separate objects caught in this piece of film. Here we're showing you a sped up version. And again, guys, satellites, things like that, they're in a fixed orbital pattern. They do not change direction. They do not fly off into space, making right or left hand turns, changing speed. It doesn't happen. So now let's go on to a space shuttle mission. This is from the STS-123. Where once again, we'll have an object fly in, make an extremely tight left-hand turn, and fly off in a completely different direction. Here's another piece of video from the Apollo moon mission in the 1960s where they are on their way to the moon, actually, and are probably, I'd say, about 100,000 miles away from the Earth, from where this was filmed. We see multiple objects flying past the spacecraft as they filmed out of the window. You'll notice we have a white object on top and what looks like a blue-colored object on the bottom, both flying by in unison. Here's a clip from STS-127, again, changing direction and velocity. Here you're seeing an inverted version. and the mapped out flight track of this thing. Here we have a clip from the STS-80 mission. Again, change in direction and velocity. And we see the feed cut. The camera is completely cut in this clip once the object makes that fast left-hand turn. Here we have more UFOs from the same mission. We'll enhance the contrast. And last but not least, yet another clip from the same mission. Look at all these things. Look at them changing direction. Here we're showing you the flight paths of every one of these UFOs, including the actual spacecraft. So anything that's moving in this clip, you're seeing the direction that it has moved in. And of course, what sticks out the most is this UFO up here at the top that flies in, heading down towards the spacecraft, and then curves back up and out into space. So what you saw today is just a handful. It's just a handful of really hundreds of these clips from space. And I'll say it again, every time there is a video camera in space, you will see, without a doubt, these things flying by in the distance. And this new clip here, where we have clear-cut evidence of the astronaut trying to hide this fact, well, I really do think that's a smoking gun, which clearly proves that NASA and the astronauts who know that these things are up there and have been briefed are attempting to censor these things from public view in order to fit their narrative, which is that up to now, they have not discovered alien life. But I think we all know the truth to that, so thank you guys for stopping by today. Big thanks to the eagle-eyed viewer who sent this clip over. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Haters need not apply. Hit that like and share and subscribe button. If you like the work I do, I'd really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys back here very soon with another clip. So thanks for watching and stay safe.